Now here, bring you my opinions on Among Us Logic 30, the God Impostor, which surprisingly does not contain a cheating scumbag robot to follow one of the evil crewmates or whatever. They did that for 10, 20, but not 30. I'm surprised they didn't, use that pattern here, but also kind of glad. And also not. It's confusing. But going into that is the whole reason this video exists, so I'm going to get to the opinions. There were some good parts about this episode, so I'll go and list off those first. Starting with a surprise entry, Mr. Cheese in this episode. Yeah, it's kind of a shocker. He didn't do anything evil in this episode. He just had a really funny moment in the beginning and was a nice cat from then on. Bark, bark. It was cute. And how Veteran behaved before he realized he was the imposter in, the ending scene with Player, I actually liked that on him. Until he, went around and killed Player, shattering all his dreams. But, yeah, let's just ignore that for now. BD and Rose coming back for another appearance was nice, and I think this is the biggest role they've had. It worked on them. Giving them actual sustainable roles in episodes makes them feel a lot less like death. The Cell OP stuff wasn't too overdone here, and it fit its role. It was nice. And to conclude the positive segments, the references to the other logics were appreciated. Especially the Fall Guys logic reference. That series needs an episode 3. Now for the last favorable parts. For my first point, I'll just go back to what I already mentioned. Veteran in that last scene with Player. I really like how he specifically made Player feel bad about all his losses, even though he knows it's not his fault, and just goes and kills him. He could have still sacrificed his win for Player at that stage by calling an emergency meeting and voting himself out, but he just didn't because, Player can't win. Wishful thinking here, maybe they didn't let Player win here because he's gonna win next week by defeating No Visor, in the confirmed No Visor finale. But that's just me wanting Player to win, so we'll just move on to the next point. They spent way too much time on that dumb sloth. I mean, you could have done a little more with the episode if you didn't spend, half of it talking to a very slow and boringly speaking sloth. The concept of the sloth could have worked, but it's game tunes. Their good concepts almost never work because they haven't in a while. And the last time they have, well, they're ending that next week with the No Visor finale. I've actually already mentioned that in the video. Kind of looking forward to it, but at the same time, it's a really good arc, and I'm kind of sad to see it closing. But talking about it is an entire week off schedule, so, I'm gonna get back to this actual episode. I didn't really like how slow-paced it was, even without the sloth. It just felt like he was going to one location, standing there while the plot unfolds, just, motionlessly, and then going to another location and just standing there talking for a while, and then just doing that for the rest of the episode. Except for that one chase sequence, which was pretty great. I guess Game Tunes figured out that you shouldn't hop between plot points way too fast, so they just hop between them way too slow, which is just as bad. And that concludes this video. It probably shouldn't, since there's another thing I'd like to talk about, but it's actually pretty likely that it's just gonna age really poorly if I talk about it, so I'm just gonna not, but here's one thing I will talk about. Yeah!